What is up, Freedom Inc. family? Well, I don't know if I like saying that anymore. I don't know if I'm going to ever say that again now that I think about it. I've come to the conclusion that you can't call people, there's no loyalty until there's a time to be loyal. And you can, I guess you can go back and, or decide at those moments whether or not it's somebody's family, because blood doesn't make you family, loyalty does. And then how loyal are people to you? Loyalty is subjective, I've found out. So whatever. Another video, different time. P's and Q's. We all know that old fuckhead. Really, what Putin's trying to do. Here's what Putin is doing. Putin. Oh, man, I don't know. I think his real intent is to just destroy the 1% in the U.S. Much more power to him. I don't particularly like him either. Bunch of jackasses that think they can control me. They can all suck my dick. But here's what I think is probably about to happen. You know, if the U.S. enters any kind of war with Russia, that people here, that can't happen here. What do you think is going to happen when, the U.S. starts firing on Russia or even Russian troops in Ukraine? What do you think is going to happen after that? We're about to see China go into Taiwan. It's going to happen. Then you have Russia invading Ukraine. You had the separatists shelling Ukraine the other day. Now, supposedly, I haven't seen it. Sure, it exists. Putin's come out and ordered troops to invade Ukraine. If the U.S. enters that on any scale whatsoever, that opens the door for your home to get bombed by Russia. Like legit, your house, for some shit to fall on your house and blow the surrounding neighborhood up. And don't say it can't happen, because it can happen. It will happen. When we lived in Cincinnati, we lived 5 minutes from the GE plant, where a large portion of the military's jet engines are made at. So if you live anywhere around some shit like that would be a high value target to the military, you probably might want to start packing your bags and listing your property and get the hell out of there. I don't know. But I mean, really, this could work in our favor. When I say our, I mean like people that just want to be left alone in life and can't be left alone. Previous comments. Because if you look back in, any kind of revolution in history, as far as I know, for the most part anyway, those who were rebelling or doing what was right, I guess depending on how your point of view, had always, the ones that won were always backed by some powerful nation that was flooding them with weapons and supplies and food and whatever else. So this will never happen here. But if those things were to happen, it would be one of the most perfect times in history for the people of this country to take this country back. And I know that sounds crazy because Russia's goal isn't to own the U.S. It isn't to expand their boundaries. I don't think. Maybe it is. I don't. Maybe if it's smart, it would be. So my damn eyeball. But I don't think it is. I think who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? I know that it's we live in some funny times, and I don't think they're going to get any better. It could, but probably not going to. People are stupid for the most part. Realizing this, that I don't like people very much. There's a reason why I've never liked people. There's a reason why I don't really have friends, and it's not so much that I can't have friends, just because I don't like people. People are assholes. You always wind up finding that one thing about somebody that you just cannot tolerate. And I'm that dude. I was talking to PHFO 101 about it. He's at my house. He's probably He's probably mad at me because I didn't go get him before I took off this morning, but we had to come here. He didn't text me, so I just didn't wake him. I didn't call him. I had him up late last night. I had something happen. I had to call him at 1:30 in the morning. Like, hey, get up. I need to talk to you. But anyway, but we were talking about this yesterday, and he's like, you got to take the good with the bad. And I'm like, well, I can't do that though. If there's just something about somebody that's intolerable that I just can't tolerate it. You know what I mean? Like if somebody does all the good in the world, but then they're watching kitty porn on Friday nights. Like does it affect you? Are they really hurting anybody? No, that's just some shit that I can't tolerate. You know what I mean? So I can't just take the good with the bad. And I know it's a me problem. I know I have high expectations of people, but it is what it is. Whatever. That's not what this is supposed to be about. I don't even know how to fucking start talking about that shit. Raining here today. Look, he's brought a boat. He brought a boat to the party. Smart guy. Oh, it's a wildlife dude. He's a smart dude. He rolling around your tax dollars like he needs that piece of shit. But anywho, we've had a pretty decent few days. Took a couple days off of YouTube. I haven't deleted Freedom Inc. yet. Still don't know if I'm going to. I think I'm going to. Don't know if I'm going to. Probably won't. In the end, that's probably what will happen. I'll probably just go a different route. I try to get people to unsubscribe. Fucking wound up with more subscribers. Tell me how that happens. And people totally did not understand what I said. It was definitely speaking in riddles per se, but I should have like 3 subscribers left. I guess I could go through and start blocking people. I wonder if you lose their subscription if you do that. I don't know. But going to be interesting to see. If you have a kid that's in the military right now, if I had a child that was in the military right now, my advice to them would be, being in Leavenworth and being alive is a lot better than being somewhere and being dead. And it's all about money. People forget that just a few years ago, all the news was about Hunter Biden and Joe Biden's dealings in Ukraine and the money that were funneling out of Ukraine. And now we see this, this. I guess it's hot now. This hot war in Ukraine are going to be hot soon. Where Joe Biden's now using the U.S. military as his financial security team. It's just, but nobody's talking. I haven't heard anybody even say anything to that effect. It's all blaming Putin. But if we've been lied to about everything else in our life, is it really that far of a stretch to think we've been lied about things about like Russia? I don't know. There can only be one superpower, I guess, but really there shouldn't even be a superpower. We should really just mind our own business and live our lives. But that would make too much sense. It would be too natural, and it wouldn't generate enough wealth for that same 1% that is trying to dictate every aspect of your life. And they do too, man. Yesterday I noticed something, and I'm like, look, government in my life, I forget what it was now, but it was something off the wall that I never thought of before. Don't remember, don't even matter. We're going to see more of it. Seeing what people are recently crying about pistol braces. If you are crying about a fucking pistol brace or ATF changing their policies about pistols or receivers or any of that shit, you're the problem. At this point, everybody should be like, you know what, ATF, throw a finger up to them. I'm not saying you need to go out there like some idiots, CRS firearms, and say a bunch of stupid shit on the internet that's then going to be used against you. But just leave me alone. I'm not going to bother you. Not going to bother me. Freedom Firearms. I forget the name of the channel. Freedom Firearms, something like that. Man, can y'all hear me? It's raining hard here, boy. We get some hard rains. here recently. Fucking rain. There's a storm cloud just following me around. But you should be prepared at least to some degree. You know, I think it's about time that we should probably be growing our own food. That time's already passed, but if you're not, if you're like me and you haven't, you should be. You need to be. I'm going to spend this rainy day today. I've been trying to get to. I have, I don't know, 200 probably. Um, like the 3-inch seed starters, and I have a bunch of. God damn, I have a bunch of grow lights I just bought recently, a month and a half ago. So we're going to try to grow some stuff. We're going to try our thumb at growing shit. Yeah, I agree with that, man. The problem with that is that who's we? You know what I mean? Like, who's we? There's a lot of people in this country that ain't a part of we. And, you know, I'm going to find out there's even less we's than I thought. Maybe, you know, like I said, maybe it's just me. There's a lot of things I see differently than a lot of people do because of, I chalk it up to my life experiences. But maybe I'm not part of we. I really think that's what it is that I'm not part of we. I think whatever, trying to make sure you can't see me while I'm there. Don't have the job I just did on that, but whatever. I think that, my wife on here. Hey, wife, you on here? Hold on. No, wife ain't on here. Hang on, I gotta call my wife real quick. Give me 30 seconds. Not even 30 seconds. Hang on a second. My bad, I'm back. Anyway, I forget what I was talking about now. Oh, less weeds than that. I think that I just need to be that hermit, man. And just be off in the woods somewhere, Middle Tennessee, maybe. Because people, like, when you dig into people, they're never what they are. Nobody, for the most part, isn't what they claim. Like, I go out of my way to make sure that I'm not hypocritical. And if I'm thinking about something like, wait a second, that doesn't line up with what I believe, then I'll change that thing. Everybody has an agenda, man. Even me. I mean, my agenda is less intrusive than others, more or less. And it's not really, it's a 50-50 agenda. You know, you protect me, I'll protect you. Um, but like, we went to the SOE thing this weekend, the Self Reliance Festival. And because of things that had happened in prior days, I just had a miserable time. Like, I didn't even want to be there the first day. Um, I was supposed to do a demo with a wood processor. It's a fucking log splitter with a lift. It's not a wood processor. It even says on the side of it, Wolf Ridge log splitter. Anyway, and I just had a miserable time because I seen the bad in everything. The bad in everything stuck out. So you have like this Nicole Sauce chick who is doing good for herself based off of her knowledge, and she is having some kind of hydroponic something or another at her house, or some shit at her house. $500 a ticket. You want to go to this thing? I'm like 500 fucking bucks. You all were here talking all this shit about community, and now you want to charge people $500 a fucking ticket. The justification for it's going to be that, well, if we didn't charge $500, there'd be 3,000 people show up. That's why you don't tell everybody about it, I guess. But I just see the bad in everything now. I'm just a negative fucking Nancy. That's what it is. I'm just a negative goddamn Nancy. Fucking Karen. No, negative Nancy. Yeah, but I suspect when times get tougher that. Hold on. That's the wife. My wife, Gail. My bad. It was just miserable, man. I just didn't have a good time at all. I really didn't talk to anybody. The only person I talked to there that I even had an enjoyable conversation with was Lance. It was just is that like I'm just at a point where I see the negative in everything first, and then I'm just not willing to tolerate the negative. So I'm trying to eliminate that negativity from my life. So that's what I'm slowly doing. It'll take a while, but I'll get rid of it. But then back you put yourself in a corner to where you don't have any backup, and then you have to ask yourself if you really have any backup anyway. Is anybody really coming to help? Probably not. So I don't know. I was supposed to do some shit today, but since I don't watch the weather, I didn't know it was going to be raining today. Like I said, I think I'm going to be planting seeds today. Get all that shit set up and done. Should have been done last week. I was kind of concerned though with the plants outgrowing their initial growing places. I guess a week, a week behind, a week back. But anyway, back to the moral of the initial thing. Now I'm all over the place. Sorry. Been a rough couple of days. I can see some bad. Don't think that it can't happen here. Don't think that Russia can't sneak a nuke past or even a conventional bomb past our defenses, whatever those defenses may be now, which I'm sure that they're far superior to anything that we even know about. But I still would be surprised if some shit like that happens. I mean, here's my thinking: is if you fire on one of my soldiers, uh, you open the door up for me to bomb your country. I mean, Russia's got nuclear subs out in the middle of the Pacific and Atlantic. I'm sure that they would have no problems dropping something, whether it be a conventional or nuclear bomb right in the middle of fucking Nebraska if they wanted to. And it's probably what's going to wind up happening. And like I said, it's all because of the few assholes at the top using the U.S. forces as their financial security team. It's a bunch of bullshit. But nobody's going to do shit about it. Bitch, complain some more. Blame the libtards and the bootlickers. Oh, by the way, I'm not saying I told you so. Not saying I told you so. But I told you so. You see what happened with the truckers up there? I would suspect once they have them all ran out, that Ottawa will, you know, backpedal on its backpedaling of the mandate bullshit or whatever it was that they were doing up there. Um, I doubt they're going to be doing it in the states. They may, if they're stupid, they will, because nobody's going to, There's this idea of community even in that, but you see what happened when they started arresting motherfuckers. People wasn't. And what kills me about it is like I keep asking these people, if that was heroin addicts that were beating out windows of trucks and dragging these fucking truckers out of the window, all you dudes would have done something. Yeah, because these fuckers had government issued uniforms on,
You stood there with your camera and filmed, helping none of them. And now those dudes are in jail. Those dudes who put a target on their back and led the way and made shit happen. Um, they're all the ones in jail. Why these other people? They're facing mischief charges, and in Canada, that carries 10 years in prison. The mischief charge, 10 years. Like you could kill somebody here in the states and not do 10 years. Happens all the time, and they'll be soon be forgotten about, just like all the leaders of every movement are forgotten about when the government comes down upon them. What I'm really curious about is how come none of the BLM leaders, like the people, like the bitches that run that shit, have ever been arrested. Did you see where the dude was arrested in Louisville that ran up in the dude's office and the mayor's office and the mayoral, whatever the dude was, and started firing shots? Was in the guy like this is some this dude deserves a life sentence just because he's a fucking idiot. If you can't run up in somebody's face and shoot them, I mean, like within 5 feet away. Did you? I bet that he never fired a gun before that moment. Couldn't have. But his ball was 100 grand, and he was friends with the BLM lady in Louisville that runs it, who does all the fundraising and shit, and she posted his bond, $100,000 bond for an attempted murder case. I'm curious to find out what the last black man that had an attempted murder in Louisville, what his bond was. I'm also curious to see what the last white man who had an attempted murder in Louisville. It's actually Louisville. It's not actually Louisville. It's Louisville. And over time, the name has changed because of the way people pronounce it. It's actually Louisville. How it's spelled, Louisville. Um, but I'm curious to see what the last white dude's bond was for attempted murder. I'm just about bet it was more than $100,000. And that shit kills me. 100 grand. Fucking golf balls, mine was 100 grand. Start out. World's going crazy. And I'm just here eating my popcorn. Just waiting for some bad shit to happen because that's all that's going to happen. It's all that's left to happen is bad shit. See? Negative fucking Nancy. I told you. Just a negative Nancy. What's up, Mr. Matt? Amazon had officially broken ties with BLM. Well, good for them. Why? What do you hate BLM for? What do they do to you? No, I'm just kidding. I don't particularly like them either. What I don't like about them is just more of the same. It's nothing different. It's just more of the same. It's just a smaller faction of the same. You know what I mean? I mean, whether you see this, I mean, if you hate them because of they're looting, burning, and rioting and shit, I don't agree with. Here's my position: if your problem is with government, take your problem to government, whatever that means to you. Don't be burning, private businesses and shit to the ground. But I mean, did they get what they wanted? I would say yeah, because we've had this peaceful bullshit driven down our throats over the last decade or so. I guess really it's been more than that. Probably started in the '60s, but they've really been driving down our throats. Like in 2022, if you're not willing to die for your cause, there's not even a point in protesting. You know, protesting in my man, this is just my opinion. So I don't know how much fact there is to this. I should probably research it and find out. Um, but when you protest in mass, the threat of violence it should be high. I mean, what's the point in protesting otherwise? You are going to do what we say or else. Same thing they do to us. But when you show your hand and say, "Yeah, when they come and arrest us, we're gonna buy them dinner and tickle their balls and go peacefully," like Canadian truckers did, you've already lost. You already lost it. There's no sense in even standing where you were standing. And I can't believe more people didn't see that. Then they call it a freedom convoy. That's obviously not. There's nothing freedom about running people at all. Then to come to find out, so they ran these dudes off with flying these, this flag with a swastika on it. Dude had a swastika draped around him. The other dude was flying a Confederate flag, or no, he was holding a swastika flag. Is what it was. So I watched a video where a guy allegedly firsthand seen what was happening, and those two dudes were holding those flags up, saying, "Is this what you want? Is this what you want Canada to become?" And those truckers were bragging about running those dudes off. Those dudes who never claimed, as far as I know, to be with the convoy. So how freedom are you if you're running people off because they're voicing their opinion, even if they were holding those flags up and fucking throwing Hail Hitlers and shit? Heil Hitler, I can't say it. Who fucking cares? Who cares? They're not free to do that. Oh no, because you don't like it, right? Everybody has their idea of what freedom is, and I've seen very few times where I believe it is what freedom actually is. It's always some more molested view of freedom. It's always about you gaining every time or what you want, you being happy all the time. I don't know, man. We just live in a fucked up world. I was born at the wrong time, and if it wasn't for my kids, I wouldn't be sad to go. Not that I have an option to be sad, but like when's your this life is honestly not worth living anymore. And you ever wake up in the morning and ask yourself, is this worth it? Everybody on here right now wakes up and does a bunch of shit that they hate because we have made terrible choices based on generational acceptance that has left us, childish in the world when we can't take care of ourselves. So try to change that today. Try to do something today to better your life, to make you more self sufficient, no matter what that is. I need a mini excavator for a day. Y'all got a mini excavator? I need one for a day. Just quit and disappeared. She moved to Canada in one of her multi-million-dollar houses, man. That's where she went. You will not hear nothing out of those bitches ever again. And here's why I think why. Is because they've already made their money. And that's all it was about. It was about power and money, and they made their money. So there's no reason for them to do what they're doing. That's why you didn't see, the perfect opportunity for those bitches, for BLM to do something right and do something good and burn shit to the ground when motherfuckers would agree with it. Not saying I would agree with it, but where people would agree with it is Amir Amir Locke. That's how you pronounce his name. The kid that was just shot on the couch had no criminal background. Like, there was no excuse for those cops to shoot that dude. They did, and you haven't heard shit out of BLM. But if it's fentanyl Floyd, they'll burn fucking cities to the ground for weeks. The cops will stand by with their arms crossed, watching them do it. And then if you tried to protect your property from being burned, those cops would arrest you. We live in fucking clown world for real. Like, I don't really like using that term. I really don't even like the term. But there's no better way to describe it. It's goddamn clown world. You should be working for yourself, man. You should be working for yourself, making $100 an hour, dude. For real. You need to start posting shit on YouTube groups, whatever it is. You have the licenses, you have the experience. That's what you need to start doing, brother. There's no reason for you to be working for somebody else, man. You're just fucking making some other motherfucker rich when you can be making the money yourself. And I'm not telling you what to do. I'm your friend. I want to see what's best for you. So you need to quit your job. Well, don't quit your job off. Don't quit your job off the rip. You can. I hate noise, man. my head just drains. And you should start posting shit on Facebook, man. I mean, you have your HVAC license now. I mean, you're good to go. You know how to do all that shit. I mean, you can make, and I know like running your own business is kind of a pain in the ass, but if you're making 100, 150 an hour, you're making $1,500 a day, $4,000 a day, whatever it is. Right now, that money can come in handy. I'm not saying you don't make good money because I'm sure that you do, but would you like to make a little better money? Here's what I found out about it though: haters, brother. You have multiple people. You have really three kind of people you're going to hear from, other than the people that really want to. They really want something done, which those people will take the hit and they call you. So my post I've been posting on Facebook, I left my number in it, my cell phone number. Now, when I read something like that has a cell phone number in it, I call it, right? Because I realize that not everybody lives in Facebook land, which I don't. So, like every three couple days, I'll check my YouTube or my Facebook. I'm sorry, and there's always these three kinds of people. Besides the one person that's asking a legitimate question, which is it really legitimate if you're not calling me? All the people I've done work for so far called me. Not one person has messaged me on YouTube. So you have first the hater. You have the guy who didn't do his due diligence, who handed over a large sum of money to some person that probably was standing there blazing a crack pipe when they were making the deal, and they run off with the money, which is common around here, apparently. You have the person that wants to ask you questions that probably shouldn't be asked on Facebook, like, "Are you licensed and bonded?" Even if I was, I wouldn't answer that on Facebook. Then you have the hater. Well, no, hold on back. This goes back to the hater, um, who wants to comment on everybody's post and say, "Hey, I actually." When somebody asked me if I was licensed and bonded, I didn't even see it because I don't even get on Facebook. But I never seen it, so I just see the last post or the last question that was asked. I don't know. And the dude's like, he's avoided the questions 3 times already, talking about me. And I start laughing. I'm like, I haven't avoided anything. Well, I was going to say something like totally dickheadish on my part. So then I decided, you know what, I'm just going to take the post down and I will repost it and I'll edit it. So that's what I'm going to do today. And then you have the scalper, which here's what amazes me about the scalper that people don't see. If you have somebody that's scalping work from somebody else's post, they're already cutting a fucking corner. They couldn't take the 3 minutes it took to create a post for themselves. They have to go to others' posts and try to scalp work. Do you really want them doing a fucking job for you? Like my hat? Hold out it for me. I like it. Paul always brings me, comes bearing gifts when he sees me. He's always got some shit that he's funny. It's like, here, man, I know you need this. Like, well, I didn't know I needed that. He's like, well, you need it. Take it. Here. Just like I'm always needing a light. Always. He's like, here. His hand. Before I even said anything, he hands me a little package of these little lights that clip your hat. They're actually pretty good lights. Oh, Paul. He's my guy. My brother. My brother from another mother. The only ATF agent I ever had anything to do with. Paul Human Net. Can't say his fucking name. He's not really. He's not really an ATF agent. We're driving down the road yesterday. And I'm driving with my left hand. He's in the passenger seat. And I reach over and just start rubbing his chest. He's like, what the fuck are you doing? I was like, looking for a wire. Oh, funny. She was funny to me. I guess she just had to be there. Happened overnight, but it did happen while most were sleeping. Yeah, well, I mean, most people are still asleep. Um, people think they're awake to what's going on, man, but I don't think people are. Maybe I'm not. I mean, I think, I don't know. Maybe I'm not. I do know this: if you're still pointing fingers at politicians, you're years behind the curve. It's not the politicians that are the problem. People want to see it how they've been trained to see it. You don't blame those who enforce; you blame those who give orders. So what do you do? It's so far gone. There's no changing it. There's no direct path of change in this country any longer. There's no convincing enough minds. I have conversations with people about freedom all the time, and I literally I want you to live your life however you want. I want you to be as free to live your life however you choose to live it with no interference from anybody else, as long as you're not violating anyone's rights. The problem with this conversation in particular is that nobody understands what rights are. The vast majority of people don't. Like to the tune of like 99.9% of people have no clue what rights actually are. They know what they've been told they are. Um, they know what. Yeah, I mean, like you have them supporting it. NG. I mean, look, you have. I mean, it doesn't matter what if like people subscribe to this team mentality. You have to be on the left or the right. You have to be a liberal or a conservative. When the truth is that they all support the very same shit because they're stuck busy arguing amongst themselves when they have a common enemy. We all have a common enemy. The only natural enemy to mankind is government, but people are too busy worrying about who's going to run in the next election or who got jabbed or I think it's funny. I don't think it's funny, but I think it's hilarious at the same time. Is all these people that are now having all this fucked up shit happen to them who got vaccinated. There's some people that I know that got vaccinated not because they chose to, but because they got sick, and then their option was to get help for the sickness was to be vaccinated, which is it's a fucked up deal. I mean, when you live in a world where somebody can dictate what can't not only cannot go in your body, but what can go in your body or has to go in your body, like it's over with. Like nothing would make me happier, and I know like this is probably a really shitty thing to say. If I seen the world catch on fire, I would go looking for gasoline to throw on it. Just let it burn. Facebook. That's what I was talking about. Sorry, I'm all over the place. It's morning. In the morning, my brain doesn't work. It takes me about an hour to get my brain functioning correctly. Now, I'm sure you guys already knew this, what I'm about to say, but I did not know this, at least to this degree. Now, I knew that there were these stupid ass bitches that, and they were few and far between at the time. I haven't been on Facebook in years, like for real, been on Facebook in years. I get on there occasionally to like see what my family group is doing because we have a family group. Or I get on there to see on Marketplace, but I don't look at the feed. There's always that fucking bitch that, you know, her old man left her fat ass and now she's taking pictures of everything. She's telling you, well, when I got off the shitter and I went and pet my cat after I picked up the fur ball and I scratched my hairy twat, I made this plate of food and she takes a picture of the food. Here's what I had for dinner, guys. I know there's those people. But now people are just fucking petty, man. Like, fucking petty. Bitching about, the next time I see dogs run loose on Hopscotch Road, I'm calling them the pound. That's the worst thing you got to worry about today, you cunt. You're doing pretty good. People bitching about Mountain Dew's being expired. I went to the drive-thru and I bought 3 Mountain Dews at Zippy's and one of them was expired. Did you drink it, you dumb fucking cunt? I bet you did. And again, this is the worst thing you have to worry about in your day. You're doing really fucking good. You guys have it too goddamn easy. And that's the real problem with the world. Is people have it really too fucking easy. We need some hard times, which may be coming with us entering this Ukraine conflict. It could come. It could happen. I mean, think. Just talking about electrical transformers. It takes a year to get one of those transformers. Uh, a year. How long do you think it's going to take to get? If something happened and just a bomb drops, not even a nuclear bomb, just a conventional bomb drops in each sector of the country and knocked out that grid. So there's three power grids in the country. So you have Texas, the East Coast, and the West Coast. Oh, how long do you think it would take to get those electrical grids up and running again? I mean, that technology is old. I mean, the grids or the infrastructure for that is old for the most part. A lot of it is. I mean, you still have power lines in downtown Cincinnati that are um, lead insulated and lead insulated wire and clay pipes. People need hard times, man, and I probably wouldn't survive it, but that's okay as long as you did and you came out on the other end able to live your life however you chose to live. I'd be cool with that. Completely cool with it. I should be. Man, people walking by my truck in the rain. They don't see me. Remember when you was a kid, you used to go out and play in the rain, go swimming in the ditch. Y'all ever did that as a kid? I did. When it would flood out from our house, we didn't have a pool. We had a ditch. We go swimming in that bastard. Be muddier than hell. Freaking grass clippings all up in your shirt and down your underwear and shit. Even like now, our children can't be children because of the Karen next door. Like I like. So we went to the thing this weekend. Silas was playing with some boys, and they were pushing each other down this hill. And I was like, "Hey, Silas, stop that!" And I wasn't telling him to stop because I was worried about him. I was worried about the other mothers started some shit, and they were standing there. And actually, one of the mothers happened to be Heather Yeager, James Yeager's daughter. And she's like, "No, they're fine. They've been playing for 10 minutes or so." But Silas is a lot bigger than these other kids. I'm like, "You sure about that?" Silas pushed one of those kids and they break fall. Like Silas break them. They're like, "Yeah, they're fine." And I was looking at this mound of wood clippings they were playing on. It's not just a mound; it's a fucking mountain of wood chips. One of SOE, you guys have seen it. But Paul looks over at me. We was thinking at the same time. Paul taps me on the shoulders like, remember when you were a kid? That hill right there, the wood clippers looked like a mountain to you. Everything just looked so much bigger. Everything was so much bigger. And it did, man. I remember being a kid looking at stuff that I look at now and just how big it was. The world was so big. Everything about it, so big. Now it's just more of the same. It's small. Whether it be people, place, government, it's just more of the same. I would think by now that people would know where they stand. I'm not sure that a lot of people do. Everybody wants to, but it's just like freedom. Everybody loves the ideal of freedom. Nobody's willing to be free though. Everybody loves the ideal of knowing where they stand until it's time to prove where they stand. And just like with anything else, you're gonna find out more bad about people the further along the way you go. You're gonna find out more nothing what they said they were. They're not going to stand on the principles that they said they have. I don't know. I want to do. I want to go home and throw the rain coat. I'm going to go take a walk in the woods. That's what I'm going to do. I don't have anything else to talk about. I don't really have anything to talk about this morning other than Russia. You know, tell you what's going real bad is when China enters Taiwan, and now we're fighting on two fronts. Shit could go really bad because of this. Really fast. You got people talking about World War III. Russia has the capability to wipe the fucking planet out of existence. And that won't affect those people. You know, it won't affect you. guys want to talk about? Anything before I go? Maybe if you want to hit at 2:22 this afternoon, maybe. I mean, like we never know, man. Yeah, freedom's packed in a box with fries and toys. You're right. But that shit's like terrible for you. Ooh, speaking of which, I need some crab rangoons. I went to the Chinese last night. I ran off and forgot my crab rangoons because I was late. I was late getting there, so I was in a rush. Crab rangoons make just like you know crab rangoons. Is it Japanese or Chinese? Fuck, I don't know. It's one of those Asian places. It's good shit. They make good food, and like this place will actually bring the food out hot for you. You know what I mean? If you ask them to. Because we got there right when it was closing, and we ordered the bar, which is like $4.99 a pound for whatever. And we get 20 pounds of food and take it home and eat it for 3 days. Um, Not really, but got my crab rangoon. So I'm heading there as soon as she gets out here, which I don't know where the hell she's at. But she's the wife. She likes hanging out at Walmart. I don't get it. Whatever. Whatever makes her happy. Gives me some time to think myself. Oh, it is 2:22:22, ain't it? Deuces. Yeah, that would be odd if it hit at 2:20. I see what you're saying now, Matt. But is it really 2:22 or is it 02:22? I wonder who came up with the way to keep time. I'm gonna have to look that up today. Like a couple pounds of record. Yeah. Wait, we normally order the crab rangoons so they're fresh. So we order like 2 orders of crab rangoons. They're like super cheap. Like you get like 8 of them for like $3 or something. But then we get all the bar shit, and then we'll bring it out. And like I said, when I went in there last night, they're like, "What are you going to get off the bar?" And I told them they brought it all out fresh. Right. And then what time is actually correct, Stephen Crumley? You know what I mean? What time is it? Eastern time is correct or Central Standard? Back to the trucker shit. People, I continue to see that the truckers won, and I don't know how they won. I keep trying to figure out how they won. Maybe it's just my negative personality. Again, I'm just negative Nancy. I know. Um, you would think I would have more subscribers being as negative as I am, though. People seem to like negativity, and everybody has some negativity. But you would think, I was totally proud. I said, I started thinking, Peterbilt truck over here, wondering, this is how my head works. So I'm talking to you. I see a Peterbilt truck, like a 48-inch sleeper on it. Or, well, probably not even that, but it looks like probably a 36-inch. And I'm wondering, why would you order a Peterbilt with a 36-inch sleeper? That's so then I forgot what I was talking about. You all because now I'm thinking about the process of ordering that Peterbilt truck. Like that's all the shit I just thought of. Why just now while I was seeing that. Just trying to explain how my mind works and why I get sidetracked sometimes. What's GMT? I don't know. About time. My trucker's ambulance heroes here. No, not my trucker, not my heroes. I don't know. I don't know, Colossal Big Shot. I don't even know if they're doing it, man. And like, here's the thing: if they do it, it's a pointless cause, man. It's a lost cause. Like I said, if you are one of those truckers and you want to do that, more power to you. But you better be willing to die for your cause, and you better be willing to fucking die alone, because nobody's going to die with you. There's not going to be anybody there. Like the ideal when they all do this, even in Canada, the ideal is we will all protect each other. That's the always the ideal. Like that's the only way you're going to win. Problem with it is that it never happens. The few go to jail. The rest of them stand by and watch and video it, then post it and bitch and complain about it, like you didn't know it was going to happen. If they do it here in the states, they are asking. I mean, they've already set it up for failure. If you were going to do something like that, you would have to do it in an underground way. You would have to spread the word, not through tech. But see, everything's got to be done now. That's what I was going with on Facebook earlier. Everything's got to be done through on tech. Um, you have to tell the world. Everybody needs to know. Instead of doing it underground, you would be better off having 100 trucks there and nobody knew that they were coming than you would 10,000 trucks there and everybody knew they were coming because they wouldn't be able to prepare for it. You don't think that they've already prepared for that shit in Washington D.C.? And here's the kicker about the Washington D.C. is that they know that not only are truckers not supposed to have guns in their trucks. I don't know if that's Greg. Are you not allowed to have a gun in your truck by federal? It's by federal law, I think. Could be wrong. Is it federal law you're not allowed to have a gun in your truck? Is it dictated by state law, company policy? What dictates that? Regardless, you're going to a place where there are laws saying that you cannot have fucking guns to do this protest. You already lost. There's not even a risk of you exerting your power and force onto those people. You know, when government fears the people, there's liberty, right? Government doesn't fear the law abiding citizen, the good people. I'm more negative today than other days because I just had something I'm not going to repeat with my head. Like nothing would make me happier than to see people just fucking fall over dead, and not all people, just certain people, like certain dumbasses. But the dumbasses just keep getting dumber, man. Like they're dumber by the friggin' minute. I just there's nothing left of it. If I didn't have children right now, I wouldn't be having children. I've even told my kids, do not have kids. It's not worth it for me or anybody that I'm related to. Let our lineage end. Just let it end. Don't bring a child into this world to be a slave to these fuckers because nobody around you wants to stop it. Nobody around you wants to be free enough to aid in stopping what's happening. And we could stop it. We can all stop it right now without a shot being fired on our part, without doing anything immoral or corrupt or or violent on our part initially. And I say initially because if we stood up today and said we're done, we're not messing with you no more, we're no longer paying taxes, we're no longer obeying your laws. If we see one of your agents fucking with us, we're going to fuck with them back. Um, they would come and press down on you with force and violence. And there's people around you right now who have no business being able to walk around in public, much less walk around in public held up as if they were heroes when they're not. It's just, I don't know, it's clown world. It's clown world. I'll tell you how stupid this world is. I had a conversation with somebody a few days ago. Went out of my way to call this person. Went out of my way to send them a text and tell them to call me because I was thinking about something. I was like, you know what? This dude has already had some troubles recently. And if this was to happen, it's going to ruin any career he has. So I messaged him like, "Hey, call me." So he calls me, and I'm like, "Hey, man, I can't go into the specifics on it with you guys." I'm like, "Hey, I know this thing happened, and now you're doing this other thing. And if it ever came out, if anybody started asking the right questions about this other thing, it's going to fucking end your career. Like legit, it would end his career." He ignored what I was saying completely because of what he knew. And I'm like, "Listen, man, you're proving everything I say to be correct. You only know what you've been told. You don't know any more than I know. I just suspect, and I'm just telling you because I don't even particularly like to do it, in all honesty. But I don't want you know, somebody's career to be ended because they are too stupid to ask the correct questions when the information was there and should have been given to the. But it's just more of the same, and I guess maybe I do it too, and I haven't been called out on it yet. So if I do it, please call me out on it. If I do anything that is against what I claim to represent, call me out on it. That way I can alter my whatever, and fix the problem, and get back on course. I don't think that I'm pretty sure that I'm not going to be able to get called out about it. I mean, I've told y'all everybody my history, so you can't use that against me. You're a dumbass. I was trying the other day. That's why I said that. And I just want you to live your life. I don't care what you do. Don't give me fun of what you do. Just leave me alone. Live my life. I'm still not sure that even a lot of people. I'll tell you one person that totally understands when I say this is Liberty Williams. When I first time I told him that our lives were stolen from us, it immediately clicked. I could see it. It immediately clicked. He was like, "Damn, dude, you're right. How much different would your life be if you wasn't taxed to death? If you wasn't ruled by force, threats of violence, or if you wasn't ruled by or else's, you won't do this or else. You won't pay taxes or else." And it's so bad now that you have these sheeple, and that's what they are. They're minions, or don't even call them. I don't even know what you call them. To be honest. I think sheeple's too good of a word. That they believe in paying your fair share of taxes. Get out of here. There's nothing fair. There's no fair shares of taxes. Well, it's on us to take care of all these people. It's a fucking joke. Like I said, and I'm really almost to the point that let it burn. All of it. Maybe us introduce this Ukraine conflict and the upcoming Taiwan-China conflict is the best thing that can happen to this country. Because I can assure you that one of those two countries, probably both, and nobody's even looking at how's Iran going to play. You know what I mean? What's going to happen with Yemen? Like it could explode into a World War III. And it has to. You know why it has to? I want to tell you why it has to. Money. War generates money. Anytime that a major country is in economic crisis, we have a war. Why do you think that we've had a war for the last 20 years? It's because all of our economies were in a crisis. But they got to the point where people were just like, yeah, we're done. Now you with the economies in all of our countries, it's the same thing. How do you kickstart the economy? Well, somebody's car gets drawn, you start a war. War. And are they working together? Is the 1% every country working together? Or does people want to destroy the 1% because of what they are and what they do? We'll never know. Just here breathing until I guess it's my time to check out. Have a good day, guys.